Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate reporting from a kind of a swamp-like area, which I thought was a little bit with all these birds that are all pissed off that I'm here. There must be all kinds of nests around here. Reporting from a, I would, deem to be relatively, I'm in a kayak, relatively fitting location for this review of, is it called Return of Swamp Thing? I think so. Which is a movie made by, I don't know, I can't remember the guy's name. But it's made by him, and it actually features, it was, actually features Heather Locklear looking pretty cute, I guess. And one thing I didn't mention in the Swamp Thing review is that the suit in the original movie wasn't, I guess for 81 it was okay, but one thing that I actually like about Return of Swamp Thing is, first of all, I think I want to say his name's like Dick Durock or something like that. The guy who they got to go in the suit in Return of Swamp Thing, and not only that, but the suit, just the look of Swamp Thing in Return of, is so much, for me, in my opinion, so much infinitely better than it is in the original movie. And of course, that's a huge plus for me, and Heather Locklear is a huge plus. And this is kind of cool. I'd say it's on the, this might be like a 2-star movie. I think the reason I rate the first one higher is just because, like, the 1981 quaintness and the Harry Manfredini, and just, I don't know, it seems to me like the first one is more out in actual pretty locations, more so than this one. This one's like in trailer parks, and I haven't seen it for a while, but this one, I don't think the locations are quite as pretty. I don't think they're really out necessarily in the swamp so much. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but it just seems to me, thinking about it, that it may not be as beautiful of just scenery and swamp scenery as the first one. There is this woman, and it does feature the same guy who played Arcane in the original almost 10 years later, coming back to reprise. And it's funny because, he died at the end of Swamp Thing, so I don't know how, I don't think they even explain how he's back or anything like that. He's just back. And there's this pretty hot girl in the movie who, this is PG-13, so we don't get to see her, but there's this like bad guy and this bad girl, and they're kind of like, I don't know, whatever, and she's pretty hot. This movie features, unlike the first one, I believe this movie features unmen. Now, I don't know if unmen are only in a cartoon or if they're actually unmen in, because like I actually bought like a tape like in '91 of the cartoon. Like, there's a song I can't remember for the cartoon. It was like Swamp Thing. I don't know. Whatever. It was. I can't remember. I remember the opening credits of Return of Swamp Thing, I think, being kind of cool. I think they're like comic booky or something. I think they're comic booky and pretty cool. Return of Swamp Thing to me is, in many aspects, it has many aspects that are better than the first one, but then aspects that aren't. Like Heather Locklear's, let's face it, back then, she was like, I'll look at her on screen, that's fine. And like I say, the Swamp Thing, the actual, the guy who played him in actual costume in this movie is like verbatim, is like perfect, perfect rendition, very faithful to what comics I've seen, So though that's some pluses, you got some really lame ass cool, like I say, if they're not called unmen in this movie, they're unmen-ish creatures that Swamp Thing gets to fight. And there's this one scene that I remember where it's like this fat kid and this other kid, and they're like always no parents around. It's like the Peanuts cartoon show, It's just like, I want to say it's like at a trailer park or something like that, and it's just the unmen. It's like raining, and unman comes and like he's got this snout, and he opens the door and he's like, and the kids do some corny ass acting and all this and that, and just like kind of lame. But gonna go 2 stars for Return of the Swamp Thing. I apologize. I like to you know, rewatch stuff if I you know, if possible, if I don't remember much. But I'm here at the Swamp Thing location. I'm not the location where they made the movie, but I mean the location where I'm reviewing the movie, at the ideal spot, and it's beautiful. And I'm not gonna, I reviewed the first one, and I'm not gonna not review the second one. To be honest, and this is only because they really never made what I'd consider an all-around great Swamp Thing movie. I would actually welcome, and I shouldn't even be saying this, but I'd actually welcome a Swamp Thing remake. I can't even believe I'm saying it. It figures the only thing I want remade, they're probably not going to do it. I'd say that I can't even believe I'm saying it, but a Swamp Thing remake for me, in my opinion, would be very cool, actually, to actually do it, competently. Not that they would. That's another thing. Just because they remake it doesn't mean it's going to be any good because it's 2014 or later. But another thing I want to say, that there was this scene, kind of lame scene, because of course this is a sequel, so he's nothing but Swamp Thing in the movie. He's never anything else. But I think there was this lame scene where he was getting together, like the Swamp Thing itself was getting together with Heather Locklear and here, eat this. Does he even take I think he takes a piece of himself off and is like, here, eat this, and then we can have virtual sex with my body, how I was before I got Swamp Thinged, which I'm pretty sure happened in this movie, which is kind of funny that he'd even it's talk about eat me, bringing the phrase eat me to a whole new level. It's he takes off a piece of himself and is like, here baby, eat me, and then we can have virtual we can mind fuck each other, literally, and then it's some scene where this guy's all, whatever, Fabio, and he's human and he's Fabio, and they're getting together in a PG-13 way, of course, and it's oh, it's just oh man, that's beautiful, man. So 2 stars for Return of Swamp Thing. Like I say, it's got aspects that are, for me, like Heather Locklear and just the overall look of the creature, that are better than the original, but then I think the locations aren't quite as beautiful. Don't quote me, but they may not be. So thank you very much for watching, and before I get attacked by a Swamp Thing or an Unman, I think I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.